And that is what Joe Biden should do. He's not going to do that because they absolutely are trying to do the thing that I already mentioned, which is normalize Republicans and make them seem as though they are normal and not fucking psychopathic demons. I'm going to continue on this really quickly. There's a good Bernie Sanders video that we're going to talk about. We're going to watch. But as I've mentioned already, we'll hear from the West Virginia governor as well, the Republican governor of West Virginia. But before we do that, it is top of the hour. Top of the hour every hour, where we do a 60-second ad break. Is the first of the day. Boys! The first ad break of the day, boys! So, if you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can subscribe with $5 a month with the regular subscription. Or you can subscribe for free with your Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here's the motherfucking 1-minute ad. And let's continue with our coverage here.
It's critical for Americans right now. It's critical to your folks in West Virginia. You've been clear about your desire to support President Biden, to work across the aisle. When it comes to this COVID relief bill, I wonder what is more important to the people of West Virginia and to you. That Biden's $1.9 trillion bill passes, even if it's without Republican support and through reconciliation, which would mean bigger checks to your folks in need, or that it's a bipartisan agreement, even if it's less money?
Well, first and foremost, I wish we'd all come together, and that's just not blowing smoke. I mean, that's just because I don't do that. But the other flip side of it is this, Poppy, we've got a lot of people in West Virginia that are still struggling with paying their power bill because they got laid off because this pandemic just swept their job away from them.
Right, so which one is it?
And I mean, at the end of the day, really and truly, Poppy, what we need to do is we need to understand that trying to be, per se, fiscally responsible at this point in time with what we've got going on in this country, if we actually throw away some money right now, so what? We have really got to move and get people taken.
Guys, by the way, I love the framing of this question. It's like, well, would you rather take more money if it meant like not uniting the country? How about we take the money and we unite the country? Which is exactly what he's saying. Guys, this is the Republican governor of West Virginia. It's not like this guy represents the interests of West Virginians, and he's saying like, no, we want more money. You know why he's saying that? Because West Virginia is a third world country, okay? And it's gotten to a point where it is undeniable. Like, fuck Joe Manchin, dude. Seriously. Anyone who stands in the way of West Virginia's getting more money is a complete fucking psychopath, dude. It's horrible.
Taken care of and get people back on balance. And I want to work with the Biden administration just like I worked with the Trump administration, and I want us to move forward.
That's really significant to hear from a Republican like yourself in a state where your Democratic Senator Joe Manchin thinks these payments are not targeted enough. Have you talked to him about it?
Well, I have not talked directly to Joe about that and everything. I don't really know exactly what the thinking could possibly be there. I mean, we got people that are really hurting. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And on top of that, here's a perfect example.
By the way, this dude is literally like the archetype for what Joe Manchin is doing as well. Like a party switching and like literally being one of the more, like, he's not like a fucking good person. He's not like a liberal savior or anything like that. This is what West Virginia politics looks like, unfortunately. And it has become more and more reactionary as time has gone by. So, anyway, let's keep going.
My executive assistant came in the other day and said, not far from my home, there was an elderly man that froze to death in his house and everything. Probably couldn't afford to pay the power bill. There's so many different things where people are really, really hurting. Okay. And today, we've got to move. We can't hold back. We've got to move.
So, He was a Republican, switched to Dem to run for governor, switched to Republican 7 months after being sworn in. Yeah, I mean, these guys are fucking terrible. So you don't want to be on the right of your fucking governor. You know what I mean? You don't want to be to the right of your already like Republican governor in West Virginia. Joe, that's why I said Joe Manchin is bullshit. He might enjoy the fucking moment in the spotlight or whatever, but it literally doesn't matter. Okay? So yeah, Kamala Harris. Oh, so this is what I was going to talk about. So Kamala Harris went to Arizona and went to West Virginia to put pressure on Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Okay? So she specifically went and gave local news interviews talking about
our interview with the
fucking stimulus. It's a fucking wrap after that, boys. That is actually pretty smart. And it shows me that Democrats, when they know how to fucking act, they know what to do. Like, which almost angers me a little bit more, because it's like, where the fuck have you been? Like, where was this energy when Obama was in charge, you know? Anyway. But yeah, so she went and she gave local news interviews in Arizona for Kristen Sinema, who is going to be like the fiscally conservative, and also one in West Virginia for Joe Manchin. It's not happening. Like, these guys, no, there is going to be unity. This is how you whip your fucking party. Okay? This is how you whip the party. You understand? This is, by the way, this is how Bernie said he was going to organize as well for initiatives that he wants to do that Democrats might not be on board with. Like, he literally said, I'm going to be the organizer in chief. So that's good. This is like a good start. Manchin isn't up until 2024. How much pressure can this apply? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not just your reelection. If your Republican governor is to your right, and if people are literally nonstop fucking pressuring you, you're still a human being. Like, you're not going to fucking be like, nah, doesn't matter. I'm gonna vote the way I want to vote for some fucking person that does not exist. You could. Oh, the governor on your right is running to your left. Yes, sorry. That kind of pressure is supposed to fucking work. Politicians react to that sort of pressure.
Vice President Kamala Harris last night drew some national attention. Today, the White House answering questions about the vice president's appearances on two television stations, one in Arizona and the other right here, WSAZ. As News Channel 3's Amanda Barron reports, the interview even took Senator Joe Manchin by surprise.
Democratic U.S. Senator Joe Manchin spent time Friday checking out one of West Virginia's COVID-19 vaccination clinics, just a day after Vice President Kamala Harris joined WSAZ for an exclusive interview to talk about the proposed American Rescue Plan.
I saw it. I couldn't believe it. No one called me. We're going to try to find a bipartisan pathway for it. I think we need to, but we need...
Shut the fuck up, you stupid fucking demon. Suck my dick, dude. That's perfect, by the way. That's great. Nobody called me? Yeah, that's why you look like a bitch right now, okay? You look like a fucking deer caught in the headlights because that's what you fucking get, motherfucker. Shirt, that's what you fucking get. Need a good look. Fuck this guy, dude. Nobody called me. Like, these guys are such petty fucking bitches, dude. I swear to God.
Together. That's not a way of working together, what was done.
In addition to...
Bro, you're a Democrat. You're a Democrat. Shut the fuck up. You're a Democrat. Your Republican governor wants this. You can't stand in opposition. Like, that's why I'm saying it's fine. These guys are going to shut the fuck up. They're going to caucus with the party.
In an
I
interview
think.
with us, the vice president spoke with a station in Arizona.
We want to make the case to the American people across the country. This was a way to do exactly that.
Why those states specifically?
I think she'll do a number of more regional calls and regional interviews, as will other members of the team.
The American Rescue Plan would give $1,400 checks to essentially every American. Senator Manchin believes those payments should be targeted.
We met with his economic team, and they put out what they wanted. We said, just show us the figures, because people need to know. We want to help everybody that needs help. But if a person's making $250,000 or $300,000,
See, this is what, like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Please, fucking just shut the fuck up. They're not getting $2,000 if they're making $250,000 a year, you fucking piece of shit. You garbage motherfucker, dude. You are a garbage person.
I don't think they're in much as need as a person making.
Yeah, that's why it's fucking means tested. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. It doesn't matter. They're literally going to get taxed in the end of the fucking year anyway. You are such a fucking garbage person, dude. God.
40 or 50 that's been okay. That's all I've said. We're going to target it.
Two different approaches from one political party.
We ran as Democrats, but we are Americans, and we will lead as Americans. The reason I am here in West Virginia talking with you is because
I don't mean he's a garbage man. A garbage man is a fucking incredibly important, essential job in an honorable profession. I'm saying he's garbage. Like, he is a person who has become just garbage.
Everybody matters, whether you voted for us or not.
Trash.
The election is over. And now is...
Senator.
Of course he's fucking spewing Republican talking points because he's a Republican. Anyway. Yeah, he's a POG, a person of garbage. Whenever these people say, like, oh, people that don't need the money will get it, you gotta ask them, like, so what about the fucking tax cuts, you fucking piece of shit? What about the fucking tax cuts? Anyway, there's a little bit more. Here is Senator John Tester on the coming COVID relief bill vote.
$1.9 trillion. It's a lot of money, but I think the economy is in trouble. Every economist that I've talked to certainly points out that things aren't getting better right now. And I think until we get this virus behind us, this is the way it's going to be. And so I don't think $1.9 trillion, even though it is a boatload of money.
All he said is the rich shouldn't get the stim check. What's wrong with that? Because the rich aren't getting the stim check, you dumb fuck. It's because morons like you literally hear that and go, well, that does make sense. Like, maybe the rich shouldn't get it. Because they don't. They don't get it. So why are you mentioning something that's not happening? And then also on top of that, they get taxed in the end anyway. If they do end up getting it, they literally get it. They literally pay it back via taxes in the end of the year. So why? Why is that a problem when that's not even happening? Why is that a problem? Why is he making it seem as though there's a problem there when that problem does not exist? Why? Because it's a talking point for fucking idiots like you to literally repeat. That's it. That's why. And you just got baited, motherfucker. He literally threw the bait out and you were just like, oh, let me catch it. That's what you did. So stop being dumb. It's not about the rich getting it. It's about the poor getting it. Recognize that is the problem. When we talk about tax cuts, these motherfuckers love talking about how rich people getting back more of their paycheck is actually a good thing because they're jobs creators. That's the only time when poor people are allowed to get back more money, okay, is when the rich are getting like tenfold, 20-fold, millionfold in certain circumstances. That's it, okay? But now, oh, the rich people don't need it. They're not even getting it, and it doesn't matter, okay?
I received my first dose of the Moderna vaccine today. Feeling a bit safer at work. Love you, chat. Love you, content.
That's the only reason why we're having this conversation. We never talk about this stuff. We never talk about this stuff in any other circumstance. It's only when the poor get money that we go, whoa, 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 there's a moral hazard here, okay? It's fucking bullshit. Don't be stupid.
Money is too much money. I think if we're now is not the time to starve the economy. After we get the economy going, then let's look at ways we can pay the debt down. But for right now, businesses need help, working families need help. We need to get folks back to school. We need to get the vaccinations in people's arms. Well, look, I think $1.9 trillion, it's a
Anyway,
Dank hug hi chat.
let's keep going. Fuck lives, only the economy matters, fucking loser. No, he's on board. He's on board with the 1.9. Like, people that normally wouldn't be on board with the $1.9 trillion are on board with it because it does not make sense not to at this point. Like, every fucking person, economists are on board with the necessity for a big proposal. They were on board when Donald Trump was the president. Nothing has changed since then. Okay? Okay. Let's keep going. What's your take on MA Senator Ed Markey? He's pretty on board with leftist ideals. Yeah, he's great. So, fuck Joe Manchin. We'll get to that Robin Hood shit in a minute. We talked about the West Virginia governor. We talked about the popularity.
COVID. Here's to hopefully subbing
We talked
again
about the
next
differences in the
month,
two
Sag.
proposals. We talked about why Republicans are proposing the counteroffer, the $600 billion counteroffer. It's just to
Why does Joe
fucking
Manchin pretend
hurt
that he does not know
the
it's been
current
tested?
proposal
How
at
is he
hand,
purposefully
okay?
lying?
That is the only reason why they're doing this. So let's listen to what Bernard Sanders had to say about all this.
Are you willing to get sufficient Republican support before you would greenlight Democrat attempts to use reconciliation?
The decision to use reconciliation will depend and say.
What is this music, man?
Aiming to admit bipartisanship might not be possible in passing his proposed COVID relief bill. Incoming Senate budget.
Again, like, bipartisanship might not be possible when passing this COVID relief bill. Okay, so what? Why? Why do we care about bipartisanship? We care about bipartisanship for passage, right? For quick passage or swift passage of bills. That's the only reason why we care about it. Why would we care about it just for the sake of bipartisanship? Like, oh, but it's a lot better if it's bipartisan. Like, fuck off. Who gives a shit? The government is supposed to work for you, okay? If it's working for you as intended, then shut the fuck up. Who gives a shit who's passing it?
Committee Chair Bernie Sanders has been leading that charge and joins us now. Good morning, Senator. The Democrats seem prepared to pass Biden's COVID relief package with or without Republican support, which has been shrinking in recent days. Did the president overestimate the appetite for bipartisanship?
Look, Martha, we all want bipartisanship, and I think you're going to see more of it as we move down the pike. You're going to see bipartisanship on infrastructure. There are a lot of Republicans who are outraged by the high cost of prescription drugs in this country. We pay 10 times more than other countries do for certain drugs. We are going to look forward to working with Republicans. But right now, this country faces an unprecedented set of crises. We have families who are watching this program right now who cannot feed their kids. We have millions of people who face eviction. We are in the midst of the worst pandemic in 100 years. We have got to act, and we have got to act now. And we just don't have.
Senator, you said you can't reach out to Republicans indefinitely, and Democrats should use the majority. But this morning, we're hearing 10 GOP senators have a new plan. So is it a mistake for Democrats to consider abandoning bipartisanship negotiations?
Oh, no. Is it a mistake for Democrats to abandon bipartisanship? Like, what is this question, man? What the fuck is this question? It's so fucking cringe. You, madam, are doing a cringe, okay? You are being cringe, madam. Please stop.
Bipartisan, why don't we unite and bipartisan some bitches and fussy?
No, seriously, dude. Yeah, why don't you bipartisan some bitches is the right fucking is the right retaliation here. It's so dumb. It's like talking about bipartisanship for the sake of bipartisanship is so fucking stupid, dude. Like, it's about the issues, and Bernie will describe it perfectly.
Martha, the issue is not, bipartisanship. We're not. The issue is, are we going to address the incredible set of crises and the pain and the anxiety which is in this country? You know what? I don't care what anybody says. We have got to deal with this pandemic. We have got to make sure that we are producing the vaccines that we need and get those vaccines into the arms of people. We cannot have children in America going hungry, people being evicted, schools not open. We need to open our schools in a safe way. That's what we have to do. So the question is not bipartisanship. The question is addressing the unprecedented crises that we face right now. If Republicans want to work with us, they have better ideas on how to address those crises, that's great. But to be honest with you, I have not yet heard that.
Does your party have the votes to pass the relief package through the reconciliation process if you decide to go that route?
Yeah, I believe that we do, because it's hard for me to imagine any Democrat, no matter what state he or she may come from, who doesn't understand the need to go forward right now in an aggressive way to protect the working families of this country. Look, all of us will have differences of opinion. This is a $1.9 trillion bill. I have differences and concerns about this bill, but at the end of the day, we're going to support the President of the United States, and we're going to come forward, and we're going to do what the American people overwhelmingly want us to do. The polling is overwhelming. Republicans, Democrats,
Senator, you say you're confident about the Democrats, but I saw Joe Manchin from West Virginia this weekend, and he has made remarks after watching Kamala Harris being interviewed about this relief package, saying, no one called me about that. We're going to try to find a bipartisan pathway forward. I think
she's like, she won't let it go. Like, she won't let it go. It doesn't matter. It is completely inconsequential. Okay, this notion that like we need Republicans from across the aisle to come on board with this is inconsequential. It's insignificant, and the only reason why we're having a conversation around it is specifically to again play the role that the media is playing in normalizing the Republican Party. Democrats are trying to normalize the Republican Party as well. And that's why this is happening. But the Republican Party is not normal. And the next story after this video that I'm going to get to around Marjorie Taylor Greene and how Republicans are operating around this person who's like a fucking QAnon freak who believes in like Jewish space lasers that are responsible for the California wildfires or who wanted to execute Nancy Pelosi is basically the greatest representation that the Republican Party should not be normalized, are not normal. They are going to go increasingly more unhinged because that's what their base is. And that's what they are expected to do. Okay? They don't want to get fucking primaried by even a more radical Republican. So they have to portray themselves as psychos. There is no honesty or decency or moral compass within the professional Republican Party where they will do the right thing by virtue of doing the right thing. There's no doing the right thing, okay? Corporations or corporate executives have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to maximize profit for them, okay? And Republicans believe that they have a similar responsibility to their constituents to be as unhinged as possible. Doesn't matter what the consequences are. Doesn't matter what the outcome is. Just look at it from that point of view, okay? Think about it like that. Like, Republicans have to be fucking sick freaks. So stop trying to work with these people who are literally like, I don't care. I don't care. I am not going to do your bidding. I'm not going to be normal. Like, it's like that meme of the mom with the kid fucking freaking out in the background. And the mom's like, why can't you be normal for once? That's the Republican Party. People are saying, like, be normal for once. And they're like, no! No!
Bernie on bipartisanship
QAnon!
is their attempt to start up some drama.
It only
This is
took
all
them, what,
BS.
4 weeks to
Just send
forget
people money,
that, like, an
WTF are they
insurrection
doing?
happened? Every single one that was like, yeah, Donald Trump should be punished for this is now turning around and being like, oh, actually, we were just kidding. You guys are fucking pieces of shit for even wanting to impeach Donald Trump. You're just, I guess you're, like, jealous of him because he's sexy. Like, fuck you. 4 weeks, man. 4 fucking weeks. We just ended the month of January. And already Republicans have forgotten about the hog insurrection that occurred. So there is no normal. Stop trying to normalize Republicans. I keep saying this over and over again. Stop trying to normalize Republicans, okay? And this goes out to the fucking media too.
I think we need to do that. We need to work together. That's not a way of working together. Are you still confident?
Yep, I am absolutely confident. I'll tell you also why. Joe Manchin is a chairman. I'm a chairman. Democrats have majority because of the fact that we won 2 seats with great candidates in Georgia. And obviously, those candidates won the support of the people of Georgia. But that campaign, in many ways, was a national campaign. And what those candidates said is, yes, we are going to provide checks of $2,000, $1,400 on top of the $600. Yes, we're going to extend unemployment benefits. Yes, we are going to address the needs of working families. The entire Democratic Party came together behind the candidates in Georgia. We made promises to the American people. And if politics means anything, if you're going to have any degree of credibility, you know what? You can't campaign on a series of issues and then after the election, when you get power, say, oh, well, you know what? Change our mind. That's not the way it works. We
Senator,
made promises to the American people. We're going to keep those promises.
And Senator, speaking of Georgia, I want to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've been talking about her this morning. Do you believe she's fit to hold office, and should she be on the Education Committee?
Look, I think the idea that you're talking about members of the U.S. House of Representatives who are talking about violence, that is, you know, it is almost beyond comprehension. And I think this is something the Republican Party has got to deal with. Look, I'm not, going to give the Republicans advice. They don't want my advice. But ultimately, they will continue being a conservative party that believes in democracy, or an authoritarian party based on big lies, conspiracy theories, and in fact, a movement toward violence. And I hope the Republicans make the right decision and come down on the side of democracy.
And Senator, we only have about 15 seconds left, but there was a big story this week about the Robinhood app and GameStop. Some of your colleagues were very critical of Robinhood's decision to block its users from purchasing more GameStop stock on Thursday. What do you say to them? What do you think needs to happen quickly?
Everybody's talking about Robinhood, but meanwhile, all they're doing is robbing the hood, believe me. That's right.
Thanks to 5 months with this Kuma,
well,
I was able
in
to
one
make a good
sentence,
political
I have
take
long
that impressed
believed
an old
that the
crush.
business model
Thank
of
you,
Wall
Hussein
Street is
Hass.
fraud.
Hi,
I
Jeff.
think we have to take a very hard look at the kind of illegal activities and outrageous behavior on the part of the hedge funds and other Wall Street players.
Okay, thanks very much. Very succinct. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my God, that's so loud. Chris Wallace presses Biden's economic advisor on executive order. Biden's top economic advisor responds to the GOP letter. Son, after your own stream program, not to disturb, we would like to say something about Bozici. It is important for being a voice for publishing the issue internationally.
Neat.
Yes, I'm going to talk about it, man. I just don't know what the fucking actual details are, and we're doing American politics right now. Can you fix your audio so I don't have to adjust the volume on every video? Tired of hearing why is it so loud? Okay, well, you can take a week off instead, I think. How about that? And you should be very excited that I did not ban you permanently and only gave you a 1 week off vacation. You dumb bitch. How am I supposed to know that, like, the exit part of this, the last button on this is going to be fucking completely super high? Am I supposed to predict audio increases, like random audio increases because the fucking audio editing on their end is completely broken. Sorry, I apologize for not literally watching every single video ahead of time, and that sometimes it might be very loud. It's, you know, it's one of the things that triggers the fuck out of me because like I care so much about making sure that like the sound mixing and the audio levels are adjusted. That's why I have like literally 3 different fucking ways of controlling the volume. So when you pull up with some shit like that, when you pull up with some shit like that, questioning my audio, the integrity of my fucking sound mixing, I will clap you. Especially when like some of the top content creators on this platform literally use like headphone mics still. Senator Schumer has officially announced from the Senate floor that he and Nancy Pelosi will file a joint budget resolution with the $1.9 trillion price tag. That's it. Oh, fuck. That's it, boys. Oh, we're moving quick. That's great. They need to move quickly here to make their deadline. Oh, wow. I like that. They were like, hey, Republicans, come. Republicans, pull up with the shtick. Just kidding. Good shit.
Has buff any gamers in the chat?
Is 1.9 trillion with the 1400 stimmy? Yes. It has it in it, yes. Hassan is getting debated by Democrats. Secret Magic's LMAO. Wait, what? The original Cash Act increased the 1400 and increased the scope of the dependents. Increase the scope of who receives the 1,400 checks, or the 2,000 checks rather, by adding dependents onto it. I don't know if they are staying true to that original Cash Act.
Will gaming frogs eat tonight
as well, or I think they were supposed to.
Yemenum va anime kizini kurum.
Anyway.
Kizina satasani sekavurum. Each sekam yok suzum durum. Biseg horn mensive dali dala.
Okay. I think adult dependents are set. Yes, they are supposed to be included. Dude, I'm starting to get really fucking triggered by people who are like, there's people in the chat who are like, cover the Indian protests. There's people in the chat who are like, cover the Myanmar uprising, the military coup. There's people in the chat who are like, cover the Boğaziçi Turkish news. Like, guys, I am an American political commentator, okay? Some international news does get covered here, but like, please, please, for the love of fucking Christ, shut the fuck up about whatever the fuck is going on in your country, or whatever the fuck you want me to talk about. I'm gonna get to it. Jesus Christ, dude. Are Dems gonna need budget reconciliation for a public option passage too? Yes. I mean, if they do that. No, don't time people out for asking. Yikes. Man, no, not yikes. I'm sorry. I need to be a little bit more stern. And if some people are going to leave right now because they're upset with me, then have at it. Because it's getting to a point where it's like fucking insane. Like, please stop. Why don't you cover yourselves in the blessings of Allah? Yeah. Maybe you should stop reading everything chat says. Why? No. This is what I care about. I want to be able to have a back and forth conversation with you guys. I'm not going to stop that because, you know, there's a bunch of people who are being annoying. Yeah. Okay. Brief aside, I will say that this is pretty fun. Just a little quick, brief, fun note on everything that's going on. Should quickly mention that we are playing those super fucking old hits, as I just retweeted while I was peeing. Iran could have a nuclear bomb by 2010, study warns. Iran will amass enough low enriched
I just want my damn stimmy
low enriched uranium this year to have a nuclear bomb. Netanyahu comes out in 2015 saying with 190,000 centrifuges, Iran could have enough enriched uranium for an entire nuclear arsenal within weeks. Breaking news again: U.S. believes Iran may have enough fissile material for a nuclear bomb by the end of the year. U.S. officials say. Biden administration is saying that. So, very cool. You know, bang on those goddamn drums, baby. It's wartime. The war machine needs to keep fueling itself. We need to have an enemy. So, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Very cool. You know.
Hassle.
Wonder how many nuclear bombs are in Israel? 80 is the conservative estimate that we know of. If you want an answer to that question, the answer is 80. Okay, so why Monka S? The USA has way more. I mean, the whole point is like having one nuke is still Monka W or Monka S because, you know, nuclear holocaust.
Let's go. Iran gets their nukes next week /month.
It doesn't take much to fucking. If one nation throws out a nuke, then every nation throws out their nukes. You know. Is there a place to find like when it gets passed or like where the bill is at, kind of like a package tracker? No, I don't think so. Yeah, the scary part about this is not like that Iran is building a nuke or Iran is reaching like nuclearization capabilities. The scary part is like we're going to use that to fucking go off on Iran. That's the real scary shit. Okay. Here, we'll go into Myanmar now. First, we'll talk about the fucking coup in Myanmar. So, before we get into it, I have to mention a couple things. So, Aung San Suu Kyi led the revolution against the original military dictatorship, right? And she got a Nobel Peace Prize for it. She was seen as a hero by many worldwide. But then when she assumed some form of power, which the military still had a lot of control over, by the way, in Myanmar, the military still maintained some control over and had kept her arrested for 15 years. And even after Aung San Suu Kyi assumed power and they were supposed to move towards a democratic constitution, a democratic governance in Myanmar, what they instead started doing in Myanmar was ethnic cleansing of Muslims in villages. The Rohingya genocide happened. Like literally, she won a Nobel Peace Prize for leading a revolution, a people-backed revolution against a military dictatorship. And then in that space, they were able to do a fucking genocide of Muslims that Facebook played a significant role in, by the way. And she then turned around and defended that and gave like really wishy-washy statements about it. Just like Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize, remember? So
people ask where's Myanmar or how's Myanmar, but why not?
Facebook question mark what? Yes, the Rohingya genocide was built. The justification for it was built on WhatsApp and Facebook directly. And not only that, but Facebook even assumed some responsibility for it. Like to the degree where even Facebook was like, yeah, we had to stop freedom of speech in that area. So, okay, then this coup is based? No. Because it's still a fucking military dictatorship. So the military is bad. Aung San Suu Kyi is bad. So the military coup is still not fucking good. They're both bad. It's all bad. Okay? So, having said that, the coverage of it is going to be very vanilla on CNN and all these other outlets. Everything I've looked at,
6 months,
like the Associated Press and like the way that Americans are covering this, totally avoids that very dark side of things for the most part. The international news media and Western news is absolutely avoiding the Aung San Suu Kyi, the dark side of Aung San Suu Kyi's governance and the ongoing genocide. Suu Kyi, okay, whatever. Sorry. Actually, that's a good call. Thank you, Suu Kyi. I did not know that. I thought it was literally Suki. I've been saying Suki for years. Okay, let's go. Let's continue.
Military leaders are laying out conditions for a return to quasi-democratic rule after seizing power in a coup. This is what it looks like in the capital today. So,
in 2008, Facebook admitted it was too slow to respond to the roles they played in justifying genocide.
Just blocking roads, banks closed, widespread internet outages reported. Military leaders seen here meeting in the presidential palace, citing unproven claims of election fraud in a vote.
Oh, the irony is, so an election took place, they lost, and yesterday was the day that Congress is forming. It was the first day that Congress was forming, and they were like, no. We were even less popular than we thought we were going to be, so it must be fucking fake. Does that sound familiar? I mean, they actually did the stop the steal shit and followed through on it, but they did do that.
Their party lost as the reason for the coup. The military now says it will return power to whichever party wins a free and fair election, though it does not say when that election will take.
Also, from what I understand, no, they did give a timeline. They want to do another election, but a year from now, if I'm not mistaken. Which is still bullshit. They don't want to do another fucking election.
Half a year
but,
of you, Dad.
But I believe that they said that they would do another election a year from now. I think that's what they stated.
Place. All detained, democratically elected officials, including the de facto civilian leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. Her party says she and her cabinet members
They instituted 1 year of martial law for the state of the for the emergency that's ongoing. The constitutional crisis is going on.
Are at their official residences. Well, Ivan Watson connecting the developments for us from Hong Kong. And Ivan, good to have you. The U.S. Special Rapporteur on Human Rights for Myanmar calls this coup a, quote, real mystery. And
Aren't the military leaders the ones directly responsible for and that started the Rohingya genocide? Yes. Aung San Suu Kyi was simply a, I wouldn't even say cheerleader. I mean, I guess to some degree, but the problem there is she's supposed to be the Nobel Peace Prize winner, fucking peaceful person who is supposed to put a stop to it. And Suu Kyi, sorry, not Suki. Suu Kyi was an enabler and was not against it and literally on the record tried to justify it. So that's what I'm saying. She was like playing the role of an apologist for a literal fucking genocide occurring. So it's bullshit.
He points out that the military already had sizable power after writing the constitution that it just overthrew.
She doesn't have leverage over the military. That's what happened. That's still fucking bullshit, dog. What the fuck are you talking about? She literally fucking overthrew a military dictatorship. Then what the fuck? What good does that do then? She should have just shut the fuck up then back then too. Oh, well, I have no leverage over the, we have no leverage over the fucking military. Like, that's so stupid. What a stupid fucking take to apologize for fucking genocide. Come on, dude. Do better, chat. Literally, Jesus Christ.
Explain What's going on here?
Also, they just overthrew her.
I mean, there was this slightly awkward power sharing agreement where you had a ruling party, the National League for Democracy, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, who was kind of a prime ministerial kind of position, sharing power with the military, which had written its own constitution, signing it, control of 25 seats, 25% of the seats in parliament, and control over the security portfolios, for example. But evidently...
Yes, sorry, that's an important part to mention as well. The junta regime still controls 25% of the parliament by law and the military. Yes. Let's keep
the
going.
military did not like the results of national elections last November, and after complaining about them, decided to overthrow this government and the Constitution.
And for the record, the point I'm trying to make is that the same international pressure applied to the military junta that allowed them to even put a puppet civilian leader, functionally a puppet civilian leader, in charge, is that exact same fucking pressure you could have applied to stop them from doing genocide, or at least try to stop them from doing genocide. And then, you know, if you say, I'm not going to say junta, I don't care, dude. No. Suu Kyi is one thing. It doesn't fucking matter. Stop.
It is a textbook example of a military coup. Troops showing up before dawn at the homes of elected lawmakers in Myanmar, arresting them in the dark. No. An announcement read out on the military-owned TV channel declaring that this man, Military Chief Min Aung Hlaing, is assuming control of the government.
The state of emergency is in effect nationwide, and the duration of the state of emergency is set to 1 year.
Now detained and held incommunicado, the country's de facto leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, along with the president and a growing number of other top government officials from her National League.
They got hella drip, though. I will give him that. They got great drip. Very drippy.
For
both the military and Congress, or whatever the
Democracy Party.
We've also heard that, activists, some student leaders, politicians from around the country, not just in Naypyidaw and Yangon, they've been taken. And, there's just no way to verify where they are or what they're doing.
For many in Myanmar, the military's shocking power play is a traumatic reminder of what, up until 2015, had been more than a half-century of military dictatorship where any public dissent was brutally crushed.
It's devastating because now people are wondering, are we going to live under another 5 to 7 decades of this shadow over us?
During military rule, Suu Kyi became an international symbol of Myanmar's pro-democracy movement, winning a Nobel Peace Prize while under house arrest in Yangon for some 15 years. That changed in 2015 when the military finally allowed the country's first modern democratic elections.
The people who had decided that they must be involved in the political process of this country.
People celebrated in the streets after Suu Kyi and her party won by a landslide. She entered an uneasy power-sharing agreement with the military. But excitement over Myanmar's transition to civilian rule faded in 2017 amid disturbing scenes of hundreds of thousands of members of the Rohingya Muslim ethnic minority fleeing across the border to Bangladesh to escape a brutal military crackdown.
It was genocide. It wasn't a brutal military crackdown. They were literally lighting the entire villages on fucking fire.
Aung San Suu Kyi was...
And also Trail of Tears style forced migration.
Their ethnic cleansing in Rakhine State.
Yeah.
The Nobel Peace Prize winner defended the military, rejecting accusations of genocide.
Pretty good. Like, the coverage is pretty
On November
decent.
8, 2020, the people of Myanmar went back to the ballot box in another national election. Despite the threat of COVID-19, they voted in huge numbers, expanding Suu Kyi's mandate and all but crushing military-backed candidates at the polls. Without providing evidence, the military claimed electoral fraud and has now used these claims to justify its overthrow of the government.
The Burmese military has proven themselves very capable of slaughtering its own people. So we have an extremely troubling situation from here on, because the pretense of civility in politics, pretense of democratization is finished.
A country with a long, violent history, now headed into a new period of deep uncertainty.
Now, Becky, there have been a growing chorus of international voices, heads of state from Europe, the U.S., the UN, Australia, New Zealand, calling for the military to immediately release the detained government officials. Meanwhile, one of the only functioning TV stations in Myanmar, the military-owned channel, has been running some really classic military coup programming. We may be able to show it to you now. It's just basically an endless loop of images like this, showing and celebrating the military that have now seized power again and disenfranchised millions of voters months after the November 8th election. Becky.
I got homies who DM me that are literally there right now. Like, there's people, not homies, like, some of you guys are fucking literally tuning in from Myanmar. I know, because some of you sent me DMs. And one of them was talking about how, like, I went to sleep and woke up to a military dictatorship, and they're saying that they're going to fucking cut out our internet soon.
For many of our viewers, Aung San Suu Kyi will be the face that they recognize when we report on stories.
By the way, that's what it looks like when the QAnon conspiracies, or I guess like the forced military takeover, whatever, that QAnon conspiracists are like fucking freaking out about or wanted. That's what it actually looks like. So that's, not to bring this always back to like American, not to always bring this back to American politics, but like, that's what it looks like when you actually do follow through on the QAnon conspiracies. It wouldn't be like lovely, rose-filled experiences that are peachy.
Out of Myanmar, of course, she is popular at home, as you pointed out in...
Also, here's another fucking warning, which time and time again has happened, but if you let the military fucking run wild and genocide Muslims and you turn the other cheek, eventually the military is going to turn their guns on you as well, as they originally did and had done so for a very long time. So, when you had a semblance, a crumble of international power and also recognition, you could have used that as an opportunity to literally fucking eviscerate the remaining 25% of military power, and it didn't happen.
Why do you have two emotes named Hasino on BTTV? Wasting slots?
Your report, but internationally she has fallen from grace, roundly denounced for failing to speak out against these alleged atrocities carried out against the Rohingya Muslims by the military. Is it clear what her fate might be as a result of this?
Yeah, that's this big question right now. Her international status and reputation have been harmed. She was on public international platforms defending the very same military, which now apparently is holding her under house arrest. That said, she still enjoys an incredible amount of support at home. I mean, her electoral mandate, her party's electoral mandate grew from the election in 2015 to the election in 2020. So her denial of the atrocities committed against the Rohingya minority did not hurt her popularity and her base of support inside Myanmar. There is controversy over whether or not she put out a statement on Facebook, whether or not it was authentic, calling on people to go out and protest against this military coup. And we certainly haven't heard or seen her directly since the military swept in this way. And it's really going to be a question of where things can go from here. As some of the analysts I've talked to have pointed out, The military was completely in charge recently enough that people remember the punishment that comes if they try to stand up to the military. It results in massacres and savagery in the streets. Buddhist monks within the last 15 years who were their protests were crushed by this very same military. There may be a test of wills that may have to play out. On top of this, you have a number of ethnic militias.
Guys, stop saying America fucking inspired these guys, okay? That's a little... Like, it was a military dictatorship beforehand, okay? They just went back. Its nature is healing. It was Myanmar's nature is healing moment, okay? Like, it's not like they were a democratic country and all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, we saw what's going on in America. We should do that. Like, I know everyone rushes to make these sorts of comparisons, but it's for the rest of the world, like, for the rest of the world, they'll do it regardless. Little American centers of people to assume America caused this, yeah, and America is responsible for a lot of horrific atrocities around the world, but I think the military wanted to regardless. It's more so that, like, every fucking authoritarian dictatorship literally says these elections were fraudulent, and then they exercise more control, maybe even institute martial law and forcibly take over the government. It's not new. It's just that Donald Trump was doing a similar thing, not the other way around. January 6th, the military protected the civilian government in America. Burma was military attacking... What? Burma was military attacking civilian government. Burma was actually a coup, not the lipshit that Lipschitz called the Chud occupation. Yeah. That is a real coup d'etat. Not what happened in America. But that is what the QAnon people wanted, was a real coup d'etat. That's what it looks like when you do a real coup d'etat.
Still at war with the state, who have been warring against the Myanmar military for generations. All of these factors will contribute to real instability and uncertainty moving forward in this Southeast Asian country.
Made all the more difficult with extremely difficult communications with the country as things stand at present.
Here's one incredible moment captured on video. A woman was doing her regular aerobics exercises. Bro, this is literally like, if it's not such a striking juxtaposition, this is literally like TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, we make fun of how, like, TikTok dancers will do, like, fucking dancing in front of their, like, grandparents on a fucking ventilator in the hospital. Like, this is basically the Myanmar version of that. How does this happen, dude? I'm sorry. Also, the song is pretty good. Dude, the world is so insane, dude. Those are some good moves, though. Watch this fucking turn into, like, the TikTok dance. that like this becomes like a TikTok dance. She becomes famous, and everyone's doing the coup dance. You know what I mean?